desert city shimmered under the golden glow of the evening sun. The streets of Dubai were alive with energy, luxury cars gliding past towering skyscrapers, shoppers filling the grand malls, and the aroma of exotic spices drifting from restaurants that lined the boulevard. Among them was Al Kamar restaurant, not as luxurious as the five-star establishments that glittered nearby, but a warm and welcoming place that had become a second home for both locals and foreigners. Its charm was not in the velvet chairs or golden chandeliers, but in the way it made people feel seen, heard, and cared for. Behind the counter worked Layla, a young waitress with eyes that spoke more than her lips ever did. She was not from privilege, nor did she own expensive clothes or flashy jewelry. Her uniform was simple, her hair tied back in a bun, and her smile was the only adornment she carried with her. But to those who looked deeper, there was something magnetic about her presence, an unshakable calmness, as if she carried a secret strength inside her. Layla had left her home country years ago in search of work. Life had not been easy. She worked long hours, sometimes dealing with rude customers, and at times going home to an empty apartment with nothing but her mother's old photograph on the wall to keep her company. Yet, she carried herself with dignity, never allowing hardship to harden her heart. It was on one such evening, as the restaurant bustled with diners, that fate brought in a man whose arrogance would shake her world, and later transform it. A convoy of luxury black SUVs pulled up outside, drawing the attention of curious passersby. The doors opened, and stepping out was Sheikh Khalid al-Rashid, a man whose reputation traveled faster than his shadow. He was wealthy, powerful, and feared in business circles. His fortune came from oil, real estate, and international trade. His clothes were of the finest silk, his watch encrusted with diamonds, and his eyes carried the sharpness of someone used to being obeyed without question. Wherever Sheikh Khalid went, people bowed, flattered, and obeyed. And over time, his wealth had carved arrogance deep into his soul. He believed that money defined worth, that class dictated respect, and that those who served him were beneath him. The restaurant went silent for a moment as he entered. Customers whispered in awe, waiters straightened their uniforms nervously, and the manager rushed forward to greet him personally. "Welcome, Your Excellency," the manager said with a trembling voice. Sheikh Khalid barely acknowledged him. His eyes scanned the restaurant as though judging whether the place deserved his presence. Finally, he strode to a corner table and sat down, his guards taking positions discreetly nearby. The manager turned quickly to Layla. "Go serve him?" he whispered urgently. Layla nodded. She picked up the menu and approached his table with the same calm dignity she offered every customer. "Good evening, sir. Welcome to Al Kamar. Here is our menu. Can I offer you something to drink while you decide?" Sheikh Khalid lifted his eyes slowly, and for the first time they met hers. His gaze was sharp, critical, almost searching for something to belittle. And then he smirked. "You," he said in English, his tone dripping with disdain. "You speak English? Or do you only understand gestures?" The insult stung, but Layla kept her composure. "Yes, sir," she replied softly. "I speak English." "Good," he said, leaning back arrogantly. "Because I don't waste time repeating myself. Bring me water, but not from your cheap bottles." "Sparkling, chilled, imported?" Layla nodded politely. "Of course, sir. I'll be right back." She walked to the counter, her heart heavy but her expression calm. She had dealt with difficult customers before, but there was something different about this man. His arrogance wasn't just casual. It was deliberate, as though he needed to remind others of their place. When she returned with the water, placing it gently on the table, Sheikh Khalid sneered. "Tell me," he said loudly enough for the nearby diners to hear, "do they pay you enough here? Or do you survive on the coins people leave behind as tips?" The words cut deep. A few customers glanced uncomfortably in their direction. Layla lowered her eyes briefly, but then lifted them again, meeting his gaze with quiet strength. "I survive, sir," she replied softly. Something in her tone unsettled him, though he didn't show it. He leaned closer. "Of course you survive. People like you always scrape by, while people like me," he tapped his diamond watch against the table, "will live." For the first time, a flicker of sadness crossed Layla's face, not for herself but for him. She saw in his arrogance not strength, but emptiness. She saw a man who had everything yet nothing. But Sheikh Khalid wasn't done. He waved the menu dismissively. "Tell the chef to make me something worthy. Not the garbage you feed tourists. If he fails, I'll buy this restaurant just to shut it down." Lila felt anger stir within her chest, but she swallowed it. She turned gracefully to leave when his final remark stopped her. And hurry. I don't have patience for people like you. Foreigners come here, serve tables, and think they belong, but you don't. Remember that. The insult was cruel. It was meant to crush. The restaurant had grown so quiet that even the clinking of cutlery had stopped. Layla stood still for a moment, her back to him, her hands trembling slightly as she clenched the menu. And then she turned back. Her voice, calm but firm, came out not in English, but in flawless, eloquent Arabic. Al-Kerma laysat f mel walfas mansib. Al-Kerma f kafa nata malmar el-ins. The true measure of dignity is not in wealth nor in titles. It is in how we treat people. With the words struck the restaurant like a bolt of lightning. Every head turned. A few gasps echoed. The Sheikh's eyes widened in shock. For a moment silence reigned. The arrogant man who believed himself untouchable sat frozen, as though her words had pierced through his armor. Layla did not linger. She bowed her head respectfully, then walked away to the kitchen. But her words lingered in the air, echoing in Sheikh Khalid's mind louder than anything he had heard in years. He had been insulted before, challenged in business meetings, and even threatened by rivals. But this was different. It wasn't defiance. It wasn't anger. It was truth, delivered in the very language he prided himself on, by someone he considered beneath him. For the first time in years, Sheikh Khalid felt something stir within his chest, something uncomfortably close to shame.